Alex had never liked the silence of the research station at night, but tonight it felt heavier than usual. The hum of the energy cores, the flicker of the holographic screens, and the faint metallic scent in the air made him feel as though the walls themselves were watching. On a remote alien planet at the edge of the galaxy, Alex's small human research station was isolated in a way no city on Earth could ever be. Here, humans were visitors, studying the remains of alien civilizations, cataloging strange plants, and analyzing minerals with properties that defied human science. Despite the advanced technology surrounding him, he felt small, fragile, entirely alone. He rubbed his eyes, leaning back in his chair, and let out a long sigh. His fingers tapped lightly on the console as he reviewed the data he had collected on the latest sample. The crystal he had discovered that day emitted a strange energy that pulsed in rhythm with the planet's magnetic field. Alex didn't understand it yet, but he was determined to figure it out. Humans were good at solving puzzles, especially when those puzzles seemed impossible. He smiled faintly at the thought. That was something no alien species he had encountered could match: the combination of patience, creativity, and stubbornness. The night deepened, and the station's corridors were quiet, almost unnaturally so. A flicker of movement caught Alex's eye from the corner of the room. He frowned, thinking it was a shadow from the console lights. But then the shadow moved again with purpose. Before he could react, the door to his quarters slid open. Alex froze. Visitors were rare, and no one had clearance to enter his personal quarters without permission. He looked up and saw a figure step inside. She was tall and slender, moving with an elegance that seemed almost alien. Her energy suit glinted faintly in the soft light of the room, reflecting colors that Alex couldn't quite name. The air shifted as she moved closer. A strange tension wrapped around the space like a living thing. "You shouldn't be here," Alex said, his voice calm but firm. He didn't reach for any weapon, though a small emergency stun device was within reach. Humans had learned that panic was far more dangerous than any physical threat. The alien woman ignored him. She moved past the console and, with deliberate calmness, began removing her suit. It slid off with ease, revealing her true form. Her skin shimmered faintly in the dim light, and her eyes, large and glowing with a subtle inner light, fixed on Alex. He felt a shiver run down his spine, not of fear, but of the awe and strangeness that humans often felt in the presence of something truly alien. "I am Lyra," she said, her voice melodic and smooth. "I mean no harm. I am here to study humans, to understand why you survive where others cannot." Alex blinked, taken aback. Her statement was bold, almost audacious, but he noticed the lack of aggression in her tone. He took a slow breath and stood, trying to meet her gaze steadily. "You could have knocked," he said. There was a trace of humor in his voice. Even though he felt tense, Lyra's lips curved in a small, almost imperceptible smile. "Knocking would have been unnecessary. Observation is more effective when natural." She settled on the edge of his chair beside him, her presence close but not threatening. Alex felt the air shift again, a strange mix of nervousness and curiosity. Humans were capable of maintaining composure, even in situations where everything seemed impossible. That was what defined them, and he reminded himself of it now. "What do you want to learn?" he asked cautiously, though a part of him was curious too. Humans had always been explorers, seekers of knowledge. Now he had a living puzzle standing right in front of him. Lyra's gaze shifted to the console. "You are resilient," she said. "Your species thrives in conditions that would kill others. Your creativity, your courage, your ability to adapt, these are traits I wish to understand. And perhaps, one day to harness." Alex frowned. "Harness, you mean? Use humans?" His voice held no fear, only the natural suspicion that humans always had when they didn't understand another being's motives. "No," Lyra replied softly. "I mean understand. Your species has something rare. You solve problems not only with technology, but with instinct, emotion, and intuition. You improvise in ways my people cannot. That is what I wish to study." Alex exhaled slowly. He relaxed slightly, recognizing that she posed no immediate danger. Humans had a natural sense of trust. They assessed risk and then acted. But they also knew when caution was needed. "Then you're studying the right person," he said. "I've spent years learning about alien artifacts, surviving storms, and adapting to this planet. I'm still here, aren't I?" Lyra's eyes glimmered. "Yes, you are here. And that is what fascinates me. You persist when others fail. You act when others hesitate." The room was silent for a moment, except for the low hum of the station. Alex felt a strange connection forming, even with someone so alien. Humans were capable of empathy, of understanding others through observation and conversation. And he found himself drawn to her curiosity and calm confidence. "You didn't come here by accident," Alex said finally. "There must be a reason you chose to enter my quarters at this hour." Lyra leaned back slightly, her expression thoughtful. "There is a reason. A threat approaches this planet, something that endangers both human and alien colonies. Your species, with your unique qualities, may hold the key to survival." Alex's pulse quickened. He had read reports of the storms and energy fluctuations that plagued this planet, but this was the first time he felt the danger personally. Humans had always faced impossible odds, and somehow they had always found a way to survive. He felt the old familiar thrill to challenge that humans seemed to thrive on. "What kind of threat?" he asked. Lyra's gaze darkened. "A natural phenomenon, amplified by remnants of ancient technology buried deep within the planet. It could destroy entire colonies, if not contained." Alex thought for a moment. His mind raced through possibilities, calculations, and contingencies. Humans excelled at problem-solving under pressure, especially when lives were at stake. "Then we need a plan," he said firmly. "We need to understand this technology and find a way to control or neutralize it." Lyra's expression softened slightly, and she nodded. "You understand quickly. That is why I am here. Observing is not enough. I need someone who can act, someone whose ingenuity can navigate the unknown." Alex swallowed. He was accustomed to challenges, but this was unlike anything he had faced before. Yet deep down, he knew humans were capable. They thrived where others perished. They survived in environments no one else could. And now, faced with this unknown threat, he felt the stirrings of determination. "I'll help," he said finally, "but we do it together." "No surprises." Lyra's smile returned, small and enigmatic. "Agreed. Together." The hours passed with conversation, analysis, and planning. Lyra shared knowledge of her species and the planet's ancient technology, while Alex provided insight into human adaptability and problem-solving. They discovered points of common understanding: how life survived under impossible conditions, how intelligence was not only about knowledge, but about courage, creativity, and instinct. At some point, Alex realized that the initial shock of her presence had faded. Humans had a remarkable capacity to adapt, and he had adapted to the presence of an alien being in his quarters. He understood her motives, her curiosity, and her admiration for human qualities. He began to see her not as a stranger, but as a partner, an ally in the challenge that loomed over the planet as the first faint light of the planet's twin suns filtered through the reinforced glass windows. Alex leaned back and studied Lyra. Her eyes reflected the glow of the dawn, and for the first time, he felt that humans might not only survive, but thrive, even in this alien environment. The challenge ahead would test every human quality: courage, intelligence, intuition, and creativity, but he knew they were ready. Lyra stood and extended her hand. "Rest now, human. Tomorrow, we begin the real work. The survival of your species and mine depends on it." Alex shook her hand, firm and resolute. "Then we'll do it together." The morning light filled the room, casting shadows that danced across the consoles and walls. Outside, the alien landscape was harsh and unforgiving. But inside the research station, a new alliance had formed, one that would test the limits of human ingenuity and courage. And as Alex watched Lyra depart to prepare for the day, he felt a surge of pride. Humans had always been underestimated, even by the most advanced species, but that would not matter here. Here, humans would prove themselves once more, The storm was coming. The planet was alive with danger, and the ancient technology beneath the surface was waiting. But Alex and the humans he represented were ready. The next morning, Alex woke to the soft hum of the station's energy cores. Sunlight filtered through the reinforced glass panels, painting the room with a pale golden glow. The night's events were still vivid in his mind: the sudden entrance of Lyra, the calm confidence in her movements, and the strange, unshakable sense that humans had something unique that even the most advanced aliens could not fully understand. He had slept fitfully, restless with anticipation, but he felt ready to face whatever challenges awaited. Humans always adapted, and adaptation was their greatest strength. He moved to the console, scanning the latest reports from the planetary surface. Energy fluctuations had increased overnight, indicating the approaching storm Lyra had mentioned. The readings were erratic, unlike anything he had encountered before. This planet was alive in ways humans could barely comprehend. And yet, it was the human mind, with its ability to improvise and persist, that would make a difference. The door slid open again, and Lyra entered, her presence as calm and deliberate as before. Her eyes, large and bright, reflected the morning light. She did not speak immediately, simply observing Alex as he worked. Humans were fascinating to her, not just for their physical abilities, which were modest compared to most alien species, but for their capacity to solve impossible problems, to endure hardships, and to make choices that balanced logic with emotion. "You've been awake for hours," she said finally, her voice smooth and melodic. "I thought humans needed rest." "I do," Alex replied without turning. "But I also need to understand these fluctuations. If the storm arrives while we're unprepared, both the human and alien colonies could be in danger." Lyra nodded, moving closer to the console. "Show me what you see." Alex explained the data, pointing to the irregular energy spikes and the unusual patterns in the planet's magnetic field. He described the history of this planet's storms, the hidden technology buried beneath the surface, and the strange interactions between natural and artificial energies. Lyra listened attentively, absorbing each detail with the precision of her species. Yet she also watched Alex closely, noting how he interpreted the data, how he connected seemingly unrelated pieces of information, and how he proposed solutions with a combination of logic and instinct. Humans were capable of lateral thinking in ways her people often found illogical but effective. "This planet reacts to intelligence," Alex said quietly, almost to himself. "Not just raw energy or force, it reacts to understanding, to thought, to creativity. That's why humans survive here. We don't just respond. We anticipate." Lyra tilted her head slightly, considering his words. "Interesting," she murmured. "It is not strength alone that matters, but insight. You humans possess a unique form of intelligence, adaptive, flexible, intuitive. You think differently than any species I have encountered." Alex allowed himself a small smile. Humans had always been underestimated, and it pleased him to see that even an alien with advanced knowledge could recognize their strengths. Yet he knew that admiration alone would not save anyone. Preparation and action were required. "We should start securing the station's systems," he said. "If the storm hits with the predicted intensity, some sections could fail. We need redundancy failsafes. Everything we can manage with the equipment we have." Lyra nodded, her expression serious. "I will assist. My knowledge of energy manipulation can reinforce your systems. Together we may survive what is coming." They worked side by side for hours. Alex guided her through the station's human-designed systems, explaining the limitations and advantages of their technology. Lyra contributed her alien expertise, adjusting energy flows and rerouting power in ways that were impossible with human understanding alone. Together, they created a system that blended alien precision with human adaptability, a combination that was far stronger than either could achieve alone. As they worked, Alex noticed subtle signs of Lyra's curiosity. She asked questions not just about the machinery, but about human behavior, decision-making, and emotions. Humans were capable of actions driven by both rational thought and emotional motivation, and this fascinated her. She observed how he remained calm under pressure, how he prioritized tasks, and how he made judgments based on incomplete information. These traits were rare, and in her experience, almost absent in species that relied purely on logic or raw power. At one point, a minor system glitch caused sparks to fly from a nearby console. Alex jumped back instinctively, but Lyra's hand was already on the panel, stabilizing the energy flow with a wave of her fingers and a soft hum of her voice. The sparks died immediately. "You humans rely on instinct," Lyra said, her tone almost approving. "You act quickly and decisively, even with incomplete information. That is why you survive." Alex shook his head, a wry smile forming. "Or maybe we're just stubborn. Either way, it works." The day progressed, and the storm outside began to intensify. Wind howled across the rocky plains, and flashes of strange energy lit up the sky. Alien wildlife, normally cautious and hidden, moved closer to the station, sensing the approaching danger. Alex and Lyra continued their work unaffected by fear. Humans were capable of focus and determination that defied environmental pressure, and this station became a testament to that resilience. During a brief pause, Alex glanced at Lyra. "Tell me something," he said. "Why are you really here? You said you wanted to study humans, but I sense there's more." Lyra considered him for a moment. "There's more," she admitted. "The threat is not just the storm. The technology buried beneath this planet, an ancient device, left by a civilization long gone, reacts to intelligence and intent. Many species have failed to control it. Humans may succeed because your species combines logic with emotion, reason with creativity. You can adapt in ways no other species can. That is why I'm here." Alex's mind raced. He had read about alien civilizations, their wars, and their technologies, but this was unprecedented. He felt a mixture of excitement and responsibility. Humans had always been explorers, problem solvers, and survivors. Now, it seemed they had a purpose that reached beyond Earth. Beyond their colonies, to stabilize a planet and prevent catastrophe. "Then we need to understand it," he said firmly. "We cannot rely on instinct alone. We must observe, analyze, and act carefully." Lyra nodded, her expression one of respect. "Agreed, but do not underestimate your instincts. They will guide you where logic cannot. That is what makes humans extraordinary." As the storm raged outside, Alex realized how much he had underestimated the value of human qualities. While alien species had advanced technology and superior physical abilities, humans possessed an unpredictable brilliance, the capacity to think creatively, to improvise, and to act courageously under pressure. That combination made them uniquely capable, and perhaps uniquely essential in this situation. The evening brought a brief lull in the storm. Alex and Lyra took a moment to review their progress. The station's systems were stabilized, energy flows rerouted, and communication lines with nearby colonies reinforced. They had achieved more than either could have alone. Lyra looked at him with a faint smile. "You are capable, human. I see now why your species thrives where others fail. You are not just survivors, you are innovators, leaders, and problem solvers." Alex nodded, a small sense of pride swelling inside him. "We've had to be," he said. "Survival is not just about strength. It's about thinking, adapting, and working together. That's how humans endure." Lyra leaned back slightly, her gaze thoughtful. "And that is why I trust you. If anyone can help control the technology beneath this planet, it is you." The night fell again, bringing with it a strange electric tension in the air. Alex and Lyra continued their preparations, reviewing data and creating contingency plans. Outside, the storm's energy pulsed across the landscape, interacting with the planet's magnetic field in unpredictable ways. Humans had always faced uncertainty and danger, and now, far from home on an alien world, Alex realized that his species' most remarkable trait was the ability to confront the unknown with courage and ingenuity as he worked. Alex felt a deep sense of connection with Lyra. She was alien, yet her admiration for humans and willingness to cooperate made her an ally in the truest sense. Humans had survived countless challenges on Earth and in space because they could form alliances, understand others, and combine their strengths. Now, that ability would be tested on a scale neither had experienced before. Hours passed, and the storm outside continued to build. Energy readings from the buried technology flickered erratically, indicating an impending activation. Alex and Lyra exchanged glances, understanding the stakes without needing words. Humans, Alex realized, had always been capable of extraordinary feats, and this moment would demand nothing less. Finally, Lyra stood and stretched, her movements graceful and deliberate. "Rest now, human," she said. "Tomorrow, we will approach the device. Your instincts, combined with your intellect, will guide us. The survival of both our species may depend on it." Lex nodded, though sleep seemed unlikely. Humans were not only survivors, but thinkers, planners, and adapters. He understood that the challenges ahead would test every human quality: creativity, courage, intuition, and determination, but he also knew that he was ready as Lyra departed. Alex looked out the window at the storm-lashed planet below. The wind howled, the skies. The storm had grown violent by the time night fell again. The winds tore across the rocky plains surrounding the research station, carrying sharp, charged particles that sparked against the station's reinforced walls. Outside, flashes of pale green energy split the sky, casting eerie shadows over the jagged terrain. Alex stood at the main console, watching the readings carefully. The fluctuations in the planetary magnetic field were more extreme than predicted, and the buried technology beneath the surface had begun reacting unpredictably. Lyra entered without knocking. She always did. Her steps were quiet but purposeful. She moved to his side and leaned over the console. "The energy pulses are increasing," she said, her voice calm but urgent. "The buried device is responding to the storm. If it activates fully, it could destabilize the entire region." Alex nodded. He felt the familiar mix of tension and determination that always came when humans faced impossible odds. "We have to act fast," he said. "If the system fails, both the human and alien colonies will be in danger. We can't afford mistakes." Lyra studied him for a moment. "You are calm, despite the risk. That is admirable. Humans do not panic easily when faced with danger. You assess, adapt, and act." Alex gave a small smile. "We've had to survive a long time with limited resources. Panic doesn't help. Thinking does." The station's alarms began to sound, a deep and resonant tone that reverberated through the metal corridors. Alex glanced at the readings. One of the power conduits was overloaded, sparks flying as the energy fluctuated wildly. The emergency backup systems had not fully engaged yet. He grabbed a tool and moved quickly to the panel. While Lyra hovered beside him, her hands tracing the energy flows in the air, stabilizing the conduit with subtle pulses of alien energy. "Careful," Lyra warned. "Too much adjustment could trigger a chain reaction." Alex's fingers worked quickly, human ingenuity in action. He rerouted the energy flow, recalibrated the safety circuits, and integrated a makeshift stabilizer using spare components. It was risky, but he trusted his instincts. Humans often thrived in moments like this, making split-second decisions with limited information. Relying on creativity and intuition as much as knowledge, the sparks died down and the conduit stabilized. Alex exhaled deeply. "That's one problem solved," he said. "But the storm is only getting stronger." Lyra's eyes glimmered. "We must work together. I can anticipate energy surges, but your human problem-solving is essential. Alone, neither of us can manage this." The hours passed as they moved through the station, checking systems, reinforcing shields, and monitoring the fluctuating energy patterns. The storm outside roared like a living beast, bending the landscape to its will. Alex marveled at the resilience of the station. Humans had built it to withstand extreme conditions, and now those very designs were being put to the test. During a brief lull in the storm, Alex turned to Lyra. "Tell me more about the device buried beneath the surface," he said. "Why does it react this way?" Lyra paused, her expression serious. "It was created by an ancient civilization. Its purpose was to harness planetary energy for protection and growth. but it responds not just to energy, it responds to intelligence, creativity, and intention. Many species have tried to control it, but none succeeded. It requires a mind that can adapt, innovate, and act decisively. That is why humans are crucial.
Alex
Considered her words. Humans had always survived where others failed, not because they were strongest, but because they could think, improvise, and endure. Here, on this alien world, those same traits were what could save entire colonies. The next challenge arrived without warning. A section of the station's energy grid overloaded completely, sending a surge of power through the system. Alarms blared, lights flickered, and the walls shook with the force of the surging energy. Alex and Lyra sprang into action simultaneously. She stabilized part of the flow with her alien abilities, while Alex manually rerouted circuits and patched critical points using human ingenuity. "You're fast," Lyra said, her eyes wide with admiration. "Humans act decisively when every second counts. Your species is remarkable." Alex shook his head, still working. "We survive by doing what needs to be done. That's all." The storm outside intensified further, lightning arcing across the sky, striking the rocky plains near the station. The tremors from the strikes caused minor structural damage, and Alex knew that time was running out. The buried device beneath the planet was responding to the energy in ways they could not fully predict. If it activated fully before they intervened, it could destabilize the planet's magnetic field, causing catastrophic destruction. Lyra moved to the observation panel, her fingers tracing patterns in the air as she monitored the device's energy signature. "It is reacting," she said. "We must locate the control point and stabilize it. Humans can navigate the unknown with flexibility. You may be the only one capable of guiding this process." Alex felt the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. Humans had always been adaptable, able to solve problems that others could not. Now, that adaptability was being tested on a planetary scale. He gathered his tools, took a deep breath, and followed Lyra to the access corridor that led toward the buried control chamber. The path was treacherous. The storm's tremors shook the corridors, and debris from minor structural damage blocked their way at several points. Alex used his problem-solving skills to clear passages quickly, improvising with available tools. Humans thrived in improvisation, finding solutions when none seemed possible, turning limitations into advantages. Lyra observed him closely. "You do not hesitate," she said. "Other species would falter under this pressure. Humans act decisively, even when danger is immediate. That is why you may succeed." They reached the chamber entrance, a reinforced door that led deep beneath the planet's surface. The energy signature of the ancient device pulsed through the walls, a rhythm that seemed almost alive. Alex studied the readings. The device was unpredictable, responding to both the storm and their presence. He realized that intuition, combined with careful observation, would be key to controlling it. Inside the chamber, the device loomed a massive structure of unknown materials, glowing faintly with energy that pulsed like a heartbeat. Symbols and patterns, incomprehensible at first glance, adorned its surface. Alex felt a mix of awe and determination. Humans had faced challenges before, from natural disasters to technological crises, and always found a way. Now, their ingenuity would be tested like never before. Lyra guided him to the central control panel. "This is where intelligence meets energy," she explained. "Observe the patterns, feel the flow, and act decisively. The device responds to thought and intent as much as to physical interaction." Alex nodded. He studied the controls, noticing that conventional methods would not work. The device required creative solutions, intuition, and adaptability, human qualities at their finest. He connected auxiliary systems, rerouted power manually, and began to match the device's energy pulses with his own calculated inputs. The chamber trembled as the device reacted. Energy surged unpredictably, and for a moment Alex feared it might be too late. But he relied on instinct and observation, adjusting his inputs with precision. Lyra assisted, using her abilities to stabilize the most volatile surges. Minutes passed like hours. Alex's mind worked tirelessly, balancing logic, creativity, and intuition. Humans had always thrived under pressure, and now that resilience proved invaluable. Finally, the device began to stabilize, the energy pulses slowing, becoming regular and manageable. Lyra's eyes gleamed. "You are extraordinary human," she said. "Your species combines intellect, creativity, and courage in ways that can tame even the most unpredictable forces." Alex allowed himself a small smile, though he remained focused. "We survive because we must. We act because failure is not an option." Outside, the storm began to subside, the energy surges in the sky calming. The planet's magnetic field stabilized, and the colonies were safe for now. Humans had faced the impossible and succeeded, not through brute strength, but through ingenuity, courage, and determination. Lyra stepped closer. "Your abilities surpass what I imagined. I have observed countless species, yet none possess the combination of qualities humans display. You adapt, improvise, and act decisively. That is why you thrive where others fail." Alex nodded, feeling a surge of pride, not arrogance, but the quiet satisfaction of knowing that humans, in their resilience and creativity, could overcome even the most daunting challenges. They returned to the station, exhausted but triumphant. The systems were stable, the storm had passed, and the buried device had been neutralized for the moment. Alex and Lyra shared a quiet moment, reflecting on their success. "You have proven humans can face the impossible and prevail," Lyra said softly. "I have learned much from you tonight." Alex leaned back, allowing himself a moment of relief. Humans had always survived against odds that seemed insurmountable. They adapted, they persevered, and they thrived. Here, on an alien world, facing a storm and a technology that defied understanding. Those same qualities had saved lives. Lyra looked at him, her gaze filled with a mixture of respect and curiosity. "Tomorrow, the planet will still challenge us, but tonight we have succeeded because of your species. Humans are extraordinary, Alex. Never doubt that." Alex smiled faintly. The calm after the storm was brief. The planet's surface seemed quiet, but Alex knew better. Beneath the ground, the buried technology continued to pulse faintly, as if testing, waiting, and watching. Lyra and Alex had stabilized it temporarily, but the device was ancient and unpredictable. If they wanted to fully understand it, they had to explore it. To learn its structure, patterns, and secrets, Alex stood near the observation panel reviewing the energy readings. Even in its dormant state, the device emitted subtle fluctuations rhythms that seemed almost like a heartbeat. Lyra hovered nearby, her eyes reflecting the soft glow of the console. "You humans have remarkable patience," she said. "Others would have abandoned this device after the first failure." Alex smiled faintly. "Patience is one of our strengths. We don't give up easily, and when we see a challenge, we figure it out. That's what keeps us alive, no matter the planet or the species around us." Lyra studied him for a long moment. "I have seen many species. Some are fast, some are strong, some are intelligent. But humans combine adaptability, creativity, and courage. You survive in ways others cannot even imagine." Alex felt a small surge of pride, but he kept his focus on the readings. The device had responded to his actions the night before, but he still didn't fully understand its mechanisms. It was like a puzzle designed by a mind far beyond human comprehension. Yet it responded to human ingenuity in ways that suggested humans were uniquely suited to interacting with it. "I need to go deeper," he said finally. "We stabilized the surface systems, but the device's core is still active. If we can understand it, we can prevent future disasters." Lyra nodded. "I will accompany you. My abilities can monitor and contain energy surges, but you, human, must lead. Your species' combination of intuition and problem-solving is necessary." The storm had weakened parts of the terrain, and debris blocked the access corridors. Alex moved with caution, using his tools to clear obstacles. While Lyra stabilized minor tremors and fluctuating energy fields, the closer they got, the stronger the energy signature became. It pulsed with life, interacting with both their presence and the natural energy of the planet. When they finally reached the inner chamber, Alex's eyes widened. The core of the device was enormous, a structure of unknown materials intertwined with glowing conduits of energy. The walls were covered in intricate symbols, patterns that seemed to shift subtly as he observed them. It was unlike anything he had ever seen. Yet he felt a strange familiarity, a recognition that his human mind could decipher aspects of it through intuition and careful observation. Lyra gestured toward the control interface. This is where intelligence meets energy. Observe the patterns, study the flow, and act with intention. The device responds not only to touch, but to thought and understanding. Humans can sense patterns in ways other species cannot. Alex studied the interface. The patterns were complex, yet they had a rhythm, a logic that could be understood through careful observation and experimentation. He began to interact with the device, matching its pulses with calculated inputs, adjusting his approach based on feedback. Lyra observed closely, providing guidance and stabilizing surges. "You think quickly, human," she said. "Your species adapts faster than almost any I have encountered. That is why you may succeed where others failed." Hours passed as Alex studied and experimented. The device responded to his actions, stabilizing gradually, but new challenges emerged. Sections of the chamber emitted bursts of energy, responding unpredictably to their presence. Alex relied on intuition, creativity, and rapid problem-solving, moving with careful precision. Humans had always thrived under pressure, and now those qualities were being tested on a planetary scale at one point. A surge of energy caused a conduit to explode, sending sparks flying across the chamber. Alex ducked instinctively, then quickly recalibrated the system using a combination of improvised tools and precise timing. Lyra assisted, containing the most volatile energy bursts. "You act decisively," Lyra said, her eyes wide with admiration. Other species might have panicked. Humans remain calm, adapt, and innovate. That is your strength. Alex shook his head, still focused. "We survive by doing what's necessary. That's all." As they continued, Alex noticed a pattern in the energy pulses. It was subtle, almost imperceptible, but his mind recognized it. Humans had a unique ability to detect patterns, to see connections others missed, and to act on them creatively. He adjusted his approach, synchronizing their efforts with the rhythm of the device. Slowly, the energy stabilized further, the pulses becoming predictable and manageable. Lyra's expression softened. "You understand it. Humans have an instinct that allows them to interact with the unknown in ways that others cannot. That is why your species thrives where others fail." Alex felt a quiet sense of satisfaction. Humans had always been underestimated, yet their combination of intelligence, intuition, and courage allowed them to achieve what others could not. Here, on an alien world, facing technology far beyond his comprehension, those qualities had once again proven invaluable. The next phase of their work involved integrating the device's energy with the station's systems. If done correctly, it could stabilize the planet's environment, protect the colonies, and prevent future disasters. Alex worked with careful precision, using both logic and intuition to guide the process. Lyra monitored the energy flows, stabilizing surges and assisting where needed. The process was slow and demanding, but Alex remained focused. Humans had always excelled in prolonged challenges, maintaining concentration and creativity even under extreme stress. His mind worked tirelessly, adjusting, improvising, anticipating the device's responses. As the final integration approached, a sudden surge of energy pulsed through the chamber. The walls shook and the floor trembled beneath their feet. Alex's instincts kicked in. He adjusted the interface with rapid precision, rerouted power through auxiliary systems, and synchronized the energy pulses with his calculations. Lyra assisted, her abilities containing the most dangerous fluctuations. Minutes felt like hours. But gradually, the surges subsided. The device's core stabilized, its energy flowing harmoniously with the planet's natural rhythms. Alex and Lyra exchanged a glance, both exhausted but triumphant. Humans had faced the impossible and succeeded, not through strength or numbers, but through creativity, courage, and ingenuity. Lyra stepped closer, her eyes reflecting admiration and curiosity. "You have surpassed my expectations, human. Your species combines intellect, adaptability, and courage in ways that can control even the most unpredictable forces. I have observed many civilizations, yet none possess the combination that humans display." Alex allowed himself a faint smile. "We survive because we must. We act because failure is not an option. That's what keeps us alive, no matter the planet or the challenge." The chamber fell silent, filled only with the soft hum of stabilized energy. Outside, the planet's surface was calm, the storm passed, and the colonies were safe. Humans had once again demonstrated their resilience, adaptability, and brilliance. Lyra studied him closely. "I've learned much from you. Humans are not only survivors, but innovators, leaders, and problem solvers. You have proven that adaptability and intelligence can triumph over forces that even advanced species cannot control." Alex nodded, feeling a quiet pride. Humans had always faced challenges that seemed impossible, from natural disasters to technological crises. And they had always found a way to survive and thrive. Here, on an alien world, those same qualities had stabilized the planet and saved countless lives as they prepared to leave the chamber. Alex glanced at the device one last time. It was ancient, mysterious, and powerful, yet it had responded to human ingenuity and creativity. Humans had always been underestimated, but their combination of intelligence, intuition, and courage allowed them to achieve greatness in ways others could not. Lyra's voice broke the silence. "Tomorrow, the device will be studied further, but tonight, you have proven humans can face the unknown and succeed. I will remember this lesson." Alex gave a small nod, the weight of responsibility still heavy, but tempered by satisfaction. Humans had always risen to challenges, no matter how extreme. They had survived in hostile environments, solved problems that others abandoned, and adapted to conditions that would destroy weaker species. Here, on this distant planet, their qualities had once again made the difference between success and failure. The first light of dawn began to illuminate the horizon, casting soft shadows over the rocky plains. Alex and Lyra returned to the surface, exhausted but accomplished. The storm had passed, the device was stabilized, and the colonies were safe. Humans had faced the impossible and triumphed through ingenuity, courage, and determination. As they stood together, looking at the calm planet below, Alex felt a sense of quiet pride. Humans had always been underestimated, but in moments like these, their brilliance and resilience shone brighter than any star. The planet was calm, but the sense of adventure, challenge, and discovery remained. Alex knew that this was only the beginning. The relic beneath the planet held more secrets, and new challenges would arise. But humans were ready. They had survived impossible odds before, and they would do so again. Here, far from Earth, on a planet alive with the sky above the alien planet was calm for the first time in weeks. The violent storms that once roared across the surface had disappeared, leaving behind a silence that felt almost sacred. The human research station stood like a survivor in the midst of that silence, its lights flickering softly in the dawn. Inside the command center, Alex sat quietly, staring at the holographic display that showed the planet's energy readings. The once chaotic patterns had settled into a steady rhythm. The relic they had discovered, the mysterious ancient device, was finally stable. It pulsed softly beneath the ground, like the heartbeat of the world itself. Lyra entered the room silently, her steps light against the metal floor. She looked at the display, then at Alex. "The planet is at peace," she said softly. "You did it." Alex smiled faintly. "We did it. It took both of us." Lyra studied him for a long moment. "You humans are always so modest," she said. "You stood inside that storm, made decisions no one else could have made, and connected with a machine built by a civilization long gone. Even my people could not do that." Alex leaned back in his chair. "Maybe we were lucky. Lyra shook her head. No, it was not luck. It was instinct. Humans have something we cannot describe. You face the impossible with creativity, and you adapt faster than anyone else. That is your gift. Alex turned back to the screen. The data scrolling across it showed that the device was more than just a stabilizer. It had connected to the planet's entire energy network, regulating heat, atmosphere, and gravity fields. It was as if the world itself had come back to life. But something deeper was happening beneath the surface. The device wasn't just stabilizing it was communicating. Alex's curiosity returned. Lyra, look at this pattern. The core signal is changing again. It's broadcasting something. Lyra tilted her head, studying the readings. That pattern looks familiar? It's a communication sequence. But it's not one of ours. Alex adjusted the filters, trying to decode the pattern. Slowly, a faint voice emerged. Transmission carried through waves of energy rather than sound. It was ancient, calm, and filled with meaning. The Watchers. Left behind this world, the voice said, to those who find this relic, know that knowledge is not power. It is responsibility. Only those who can balance logic with emotion, reason with compassion, may awaken the heart of the world. The transmission ended, leaving silence. Alex and Lyra exchanged a look. It's a message, Alex said quietly. The builders of this relic left it as a test. Lyra nodded slowly. And it seems humans have passed. Before they could celebrate, the holographic display began flashing red. The relic's energy readings were spiking again. The planet trembled beneath them, soft at first, then stronger. Alex sprang to his feet. No, it's not done yet. The relic is trying to complete its process. It's waking up. Lyra's calm broke for the first time. If it overloads again, it could destroy everything we've built. The colonies, the atmosphere, everything, Lex thought quickly. There's got to be a way to regulate it. The core must be synchronizing with something. Maybe it's searching for balance between all the energy sources on the planet. Lyra looked at him. Then we must find the balance it seeks. You are the only one who can do it, Alex. It responds to you. The two rushed to the underground chamber where the relic was buried. The air was thick with static, and bright arcs of energy danced across the walls. The device pulsed with golden light, each wave stronger than the last. It wasn't angry it was awakening fully, and it needed guidance. Alex moved toward the control panel, his mind racing. If it's looking for balance, it needs a stable input, something human. Maybe it's testing whether we truly understand its purpose. Lyra steadied the field around him. Then show it what humans understand best. Alex placed his hands on the interface. The lights flared around him, reading his neural patterns. Images flooded his mind, memories of Earth, of humanity's rise from struggle. He saw fire, invention, art, conflict, compassion, all the emotions and creations that defined humankind. The relic was reading him, testing not his knowledge, but his essence. He focused on what made humans unique: their creativity, their courage, their endless hope in the face of despair. He thought of explorers who had ventured into the unknown, of scientists who had risked everything for discovery, of people who had built homes in hostile worlds. The relic's light pulsed brighter, resonating with his thoughts. Lyra watched in awe. It's responding. It understands you. The tremors grew stronger, but Alex didn't step back. He spoke softly, not to Lyra, but to the relic itself. We are human. We are flawed, but we learn. We don't give up. We protect what we love, and we fix what we break. If this planet needs a guardian, then let us be that. The chamber glowed so brightly that Lyra had to shield her eyes. The relic's energy surged once more, then suddenly quieted. The pulse became slow, steady, calm. The air felt lighter, the tension fading like a storm drifting away. Lyra slowly lowered her hand. The relic's surface now shimmered with a faint blue glow, peaceful and controlled. The readings stabilized completely. The process was over. Alex took a deep breath. It's done. Lyra's expression softened into a rare smile. You didn't just stabilize the device, Alex. You bonded with it. The relic accepted humanity as its guide. Alex glanced at the console. The readings now showed an equilibrium between natural and artificial energies, a perfect balance. The planet was no longer dependent on unstable cycles. It had become self-sustaining, alive, and harmonious. Lyra walked closer, studying the glowing surface. Do you realize what this means? This device could save countless worlds across the galaxy, and now it responds to humans. Alex looked up, thoughtful. Then maybe that's our purpose out here. Not to conquer, but to fix what's broken. To bring balance where others couldn't. Outside the chamber, the planet's landscape began to shift. The skies turned a deeper shade of blue, and vegetation started sprouting in areas once barren. The atmosphere grew richer, healthier, more alive. The storm-born world was healing itself. When Alex and Lyra returned to the surface, the alien colonists and human crew members were already gathering, watching the miracle unfold. For the first time in generations, the planet was stable, safe, and thriving. A young alien approached Lyra. Is it true? The humans saved the world? Lyra smiled gently. He did. But not just with knowledge, with heart. The crowd turned to Alex, their expressions filled with gratitude and wonder. Alex, feeling slightly embarrassed, simply nodded. We all worked together, he said. That's what made it possible. Later that evening, as the two stood on the station balcony, overlooking the glowing horizon, Lyra spoke again, her tone calm but filled with depth. You humans are unpredictable. You face danger with such courage, and you think in ways that surprise even the oldest civilizations. The galaxy has much to learn from you. Alex chuckled softly. We just try to survive. Sometimes we end up doing something good along the way. Lyra looked at him thoughtfully. You do more than survive. You create hope. The planet's twin moons rose slowly above the horizon, bathing the land in soft light. Alex watched them silently. In that moment, he felt a deep connection not only to the world beneath his feet, but to the vast universe beyond it. He thought of how far humans had come. From small steps on their home world to great leaps across the stars. Everywhere they went, they brought not just technology, but curiosity, imagination, and courage. And in those qualities lay their strength, the essence of what made humanity extraordinary. Lyra's voice was soft. What will you do now? Alex smiled faintly. Keep learning. Keep exploring. There's always another mystery out there. Lyra nodded. And perhaps another world waiting for a human to save it. They stood in silence for a long time, watching the dawn spread across the alien sky. The relic beneath them continued its steady pulse, symbol of balance and unity between two worlds, in the days that followed. The story of the human scientist and the alien woman spread across the colonies. It became a tale of cooperation, courage, and understanding, a reminder that strength is not found in power, but in compassion and creativity. Alex remained on the planet, working with Lyra to study the relic and its vast network. Together, they discovered that the device could replicate its stabilizing effects across other unstable worlds. The implications were enormous. One evening, as they monitored new readings, Lyra said quietly, "The relic trusted you. It chose you because humans can feel balance even when logic alone cannot find it." And Alex looked at her. Maybe it didn't choose me. Maybe it just recognized what we all have inside us, the will to protect, to fix, to understand. Lyra smiled. Perhaps that is the true gift of humanity. Outside, the stars glimmered in the distance. Somewhere out there, other worlds waited, some thriving, some struggling, all filled with mysteries. Humanity's journey was far from over. Alex gazed at the stars, feeling both small and limitless. If there are more relics like this one, he said, we'll find them. And if they're broken, we'll fix them. That's what humans do. Lyra's voice was almost a whisper. Yes, you fix what others fear to touch. The two stood together, side by side, as the night sky stretched endlessly before them. The relic's heartbeat echoed beneath their feet. Steady and strong, a reminder of unity between worlds, between species, and between knowledge and compassion. And somewhere deep within that sound, Alex thought he could hear.